I come to sing. I don't understand how, and I don't really care why. I bring to you like the simple things. We add on to the simple things and get to levels that nobody else has been on. The Shema is so fundamental to Judaism. And the Shema, in the Shema, represents everything. So we do the Shema, Shema Yisrael, just the word Shema. If you really want to know, we don't have to get out of the shin. But we'll stay in the whole world Shema. Shin, Mem, Ayin. And what is that? We'll do the gematria, the full gematria of the word Shin, Mem, Ayin. Shin's gematria is 360. Mem is 100. Is 80. That's 440. And the Ayin is 130. That's 570. But for me, 570 doesn't represent much. So what do? I add a fourth prong to this shin. For me, the Shema always has a fourth prong shin. And what is that fourth prong? That fourth prong is a letter Vav. We're going to add a fourth prong to that shin. And that fourth prong to the shin as the letter Vav, and what the letter Shin will be in Olam Haba is a four-pronged shin. And remember, there are two shins on the tefillin. The right shin of 3 prongs, and the left shin of 4 prongs. And that will be the Olam Haba shin. And how we'll know the shin here. Now, some people use the shin as a letter Zion. And I've used the letter Zion here, but for here, it's a letter Vav. And what comprises the letter Vav? The letter Vav is comprised of a Yud on top and a Vav down the middle. That's 16. Yud and Vav is 16. So the letter Vav is really a composition of a Yud on top and a Vav. It's a letter 6. It's the number 16. So what do? I take the Shema, and I've added this Vav to it, a fourth prong. And that fourth prong represents 16. And remember that the Shema that I gave you was 570. And I've added 16. And what does that become? 586. 586 is one of the most propitious numbers. Because it's shofar. It's Yerushalayim. It's Yesod fully spelt out. It's actually Ha-Kotel, fully spelt out. But the Shema is the shofar when it has a fourth prong shin, and using that Vav as what it really is, a Yud and a Vav, which comprise the letter Vav. So the 586 of the shofar, and when you say the Shema, you have to hear the shofar. And remember, there are 2 shofar. There's the shofar, the external shofar, and the internal shofar. Why? Because there are two horns on the ayil that was the substitute for Yitzhak. And this ayil comes from Hevel. And this ayil in the Shema, because the Shema represents Shimon, and this ayil, and to hear, and the depth of hearing. And there are two horns. And the whole deal there represents Cain, a rectification of Cain and Hevel. And if you take the shin, the dinam letters, that means the letters that comprise the total after the kedusha letter of the first letter, the rest of the spelling. If you take the kedusha letters of, the dinam letters of shin, that's yud, nun, that's 60, and then mem has another 40, that's 100, and the ayin, that's a yud and a nun, 60, that comes out to be 160. And that 160 is Cain. It's also Zelem. But the Cain is the din of the Shema. Because the horn that we hear in the Shema is actually the horn of Hevel. And we wouldn't hear this horn of Hevel, the substitute of the ayil, if it wasn't for Cain. So we represent here in the Shema, fourth prong, up into the shofar mode. This is a very deep thing, because the whole idea of the Shema is to absorb. It's a meditation. It's an internal life, not just the external life. And true Judaism is the internal absorption within the communal. You see? There's an individuality within the communal. This comes in with later on with the Nazir, but it comes in every time you pray. You may be praying communally, but you're doing it individually. You have an individual spark of the Yehidah, and even deeper, you have an individual spark of Hashem. That is unique. To enter into that, you have to have the fourth prong of the shin. Add it to your Shema, and you'll be at the level that I've just expressed.